This is going to be my last video, and I just wanted to talk about the social side of living in wartime. In England in the 1940s, TVs were not available, and BBC got restricted what it could broadcast. So the cinema was very popular, and approximately 1 in 3 people went at least once a week to the cinema, and that's where they would get their news. The Pathé News would play, there would be films for children as well. And Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz also had come out in 1939, so there was colour available. Other than that, people would sit around the radio and listen to radio broadcasts, and the different ministries would broadcast information and misinformation about the war. Popular singers, there was Vera Lynn, she wasn't a dame at the time, so We'll Meet Again and The White Cliffs of Dover. There was Gracie Fields. Children would play board games because computers weren't available. And what I found quite interesting was the clothes. Because of the restrictions on clothing and clothing coupons, people would use less material for their clothes. So in the war, trouser turn-ups became out of fashion because it used too much material. Skirts got shorter, and there was a restriction on buttons and pleats. It became utilitarian in use. It wasn't until the 50s, after the war, that people started using more material and bigger skirts again. Travel was restricted. Petrol was rationed, so people would use public transport and bicycles. And one other side of social impact was a change in the music. The American music scene burst into Britain with things like the jitterbug. Contraception was quite interesting. I'm going to include a link for quite an interesting blog on vintage contraception. So some of the things that they would have used would have been withdrawal, condoms, but they were still using condoms made of literally rubber. They hadn't actually got as far as latex by then. They also used diaphragms, the Dutch cap, and IUDs. Diaphragms actually have been around since the late 1880s, so they've been around quite a while. Contraceptive pill was not invented, so that wasn't available. And just one last thing, divorce rates were very low. They were as low as possibly 7% during the war. So if you want some more information on the social side, have a look at my blog. And this is it for May. Thank you.